Hey, welcome to Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by the AstroPub. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you, X?
I'm moving my sleep around for Invictus, and I'm kind of cooked already, man. And I'm like, oh shit. I got 2 weeks
I
of this
understand.
shit.
I'm in the same sort of thing where I'm trying to get this topic. I'm trying to get a lore video out for the topic we're going to talk about before Aegis Day, but Aegis Day is Thursday, so it's like I'm like, ooh, like I need to do it by Wednesday to get it done. So I've got 2 days, but we'll see.
Well, hopefully we can do a bit of refresher for you and even it up. I've also, my chair broke during the live stream, so I'm sitting on this shitty little, very uncomfortable chair. But I'm going to order a new one, and hopefully I get that all sorted. But they're my personal problems, none of your guys' personal problems. But we'll just get that out of the way. Right. So what we're going to do today is we're literally going to go through, because obviously we want to do it before Aegis Day, because we think that on Aegis Day that we're more than likely getting the Idris, and we want to go. This is going to be a real quick supplemental, maybe 10-15 minutes, not as long as our usual ones, but just the evidence we think that we have is quite strong for why it's coming. So, is there anything you want to kick it off with, Paul?
I will do the caveat that even if it's that this doesn't mean that they're releasing right now at Invictus, it does heavily imply that we're going to see the Idris this year in some form.
Yeah,
because of all of the stuff they're doing.
Yeah.
And so keep that in mind. Even if it doesn't release at Invictus, everything we're saying and seeing is indications that CIG is likely not going to wait until CitizenCon or until Squad 42 is released to release the Idris. So.
Yeah. So I think that's important to state that this is not a guarantee, but we think it is a strong possibility that it's coming, and
it's a more possibility than it isn't at this point.
Yes,
as of this recording.
Oh, you just went quiet again. That was really strange. I'm wondering if it's more.
It's because I moved away from the mic. I'll be more forceful when we're talking. So
okay. Yeah, might be your new gate needs a bit of adjusting. It's all good. All right, let's kick it over to the browser. So I think the first bit of evidence we kind of have here is the Idris T-shirt. Now a lot of people say, oh, that's just a coincidence. And actually the first thing me and Algrid noticed straight off the bat, as you probably noticed because you've been around just as long as us, is the it's very much a take on the Polaris shirt.
It looks very similar to the Polaris shirt that you can buy in game and in reality. So
you can't get in reality anymore. It's probably the most
sold out
popular thing they ever sold, and they've never sold it again. Why? I would buy another one. Algrid bought 2 of them, and he's only just got it onto his other one. Mine's got holes in it and shit. Like they're 10 years old. They've all been worn to death. Re-release that Idris, not the Idris shirt, the Polaris shirt, and
the Polaris shirt.
Also, the Polaris shirt doesn't have the cool lines on it the Idris one has. It's got all these other kind of like technical lines. I don't know how to explain it, but if you've ever seen or look at a photo of it, you know what I'm talking about.
Grid lines,
yeah. But that's a. I have to say that's a little bit bad taste if they release this shit as a subflare and it doesn't come out. Like that's just like it's
the other thing to make sure to think is that the lore flare for why they're releasing this Idris P is because it's in lore the 80th anniversary of the release of the Idris Peacekeeper.
Yep.
So
and the shirt does say P. It doesn't say M or K. It just says P. Right. And that's kind of important because we're going to go through some of that stuff too about the variants as well. So I think probably the biggest piece of information, actually, no, I'll skip that for now. We've also got this coming in. We've also got new PDCs. Now, there's only currently the Phoenix and the Polaris that use these PDCs. So there's not really any reason to add a variant. But if you all of a sudden add the Idris into the mix, that gives you a lot more of a reason to have differentiating PDCs. I think that's a pretty strong thing to point out. It's circumstantial, but
the thing is and I know it's circumstantial, but people may point out that, like, for instance, they're doing a bespoke version of the Nova weapon, and they're doing they're doing some bespoke stuff of specific variants. There's a lot more Novas in the universe and in the game than there are Polarises and Phoenixes and Idrises. So like basically they'd be doing this specific unique PDC for like half the number of people that have a Nova tank. So as a result, this is more likely an asset being done because they're adding more utility, more people who will need that with the release of the P. So
obviously they're planning for the future too with other big ships as well, but bringing in the
game.
P
the P has 10 slots for PDCs, but it only comes standard with 5.
Yeah. So yeah, it gives you something to upgrade into. Obviously, a little bit of they go into. Yeah. Right. The other thing here, as we start to get into, I think I'll do this.
Oh, I might be wrong. It might be 8, not 10, but it has extra PDC slots that you can improve. So
so this turret that they have sitting at the right next to the Idris in the PTU, which will also go on to live when the patch drops sometime later this week. That's actually the main turret of the K kit, which is really telling. And I think there's a few other things about the K kit as well, like the giant Hurston laser thing. They found all the sounds for it in the sound files and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff to show that it's not just the P that's potentially ready, but the K. But
there's also the Chinese. Well, the Chinese Bar Citizen, they had a question, which is, or they had a statement where they talk about, is this the year for beam weapons? And they said it's the year for beam weapons. And we already know there's not that many beam weapons in game that haven't already been added. Like we had the beam for the laser beam for Hathor, the beam for the Volt weapons,
and the SMG.
And the SMG. So the rifle and the SMG. So like, there's just not that many left that it would be beams other than the K. The K's laser.
Well, unless there's something new, like a new ship that has a laser on it or something like that too.
It could
potentially
be.
Down the line. Yeah.
But the fact that they also were making the P, which has the K upgrade, and then the K stuff has been discovered, and both the P and the K are not squadron variants. They are specifically designed for the PU. These are Star Citizen versions of the Idris. They're putting a lot of effort into something they're not releasing for another year.
Oh,
you know,
100% agree with that. Okay. And I think this is this is probably the biggest thing for me, right? And I don't want to chuck Jaron under the bus, but I'm going to chuck Jaron under the bus. So this gentleman by the name of Brian, he made this post that says, Jaron said next week we'll learn about the last 4 vehicles coming at Invictus. Now, this was in the video, the same video that we just had up here, which was the Inside Star says now for 4.1 Mission Compossible, right? Yeah, don't like the names, Jared. They're really hard to find. Down the road. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, so long story short, Jared replies, "We showed every single one that's coming in today's show, winky smiley face." But that would be fine. But then he deleted the post.
Yeah,
and I think that says way more than what he actually said in the post.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the other thing that's important is that what this post says is 4 plus the TAC, because 4 more videos were coming because they already did the TAC beforehand.
Yeah.
So,
and we only know about 3.
And we knew about 3: the MTC, the Guardian, and the Asgard.
Yeah.
So there's a 4th one, and they said they showed all of them. There was no showing of anything that we saw other than the Idris.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that he deleted it, and the fact that they've been, especially with a lot of the reports from the Chinese Bar Citizens, which again is said in English, translated into Mandarin, and then translated back into English.
Let's just sound again.
Right? I stepped away. I looked away from the mic.
Okay.
So I'll put it really close.
No worries.
It's a little off. There you go. Right. No, I stepped away because I realized that we didn't do the background stuff. So
okay, I noticed it halfway through. I wasn't too worried about it.
But anyways, that translation can mean that there's some things that are going to be lost in translation. There's just going to be some things that you just do not hear from that are not going to come out wrong.
Yeah.
But so with that said, there seems to be some indication that we'll know about the status of the Idris at Invictus. They're going to tell us, give us an update at Invictus for the Idris. All of these things, the fact that it's the P with the K grades being shown, and the fact that it's the Idris P shirt, the message that was deleted, all of these seem to be indicating that the Idris P is coming in at Invictus, if not the P and the K. Now that's a different. I personally don't think the K is coming as well, but it could.
Yeah, so, I think that's important to stress. Like, I think we'll both agree that the P is most likely the one that's coming. But I think the other thing that we'd probably agree on is the M is more than likely the one they're holding off until Squadron. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes.
And then the part where we're not, well, I won't say it's definitely coming, but I think it's possible to come at Invictus is the K. And that's mainly because we've got the missile turret, as you saw, and we've got the laser in the sound files and stuff like that. So it looks like it's potentially ready to go. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just the P that comes out and they spread it out, so to speak, and they give you the K at another time. Why wouldn't they? You know, like there's no reason just to dump it all at once when you could essentially stagger it out and it's a little bit of a nugget, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could easily also make it a ship you could earn from Wicklow, or like the upgrade kit from Wicklow. You want to get your K kit? You know, it'll give you an K kit. You know,
or much like the PDCs, it gives you something to upgrade into, something to to work towards to get as a crew. And I think that's the whole reason why the different versions exist anyway. You know, if you normally buy it in game, like a normal person that comes years after us, they'll have to earn the Idris and then upgrade it to the K and then upgrade it to the M. They won't just go straight to the M. They'll have to go through all the steps. It's essentially progression steps that they've sold to us to make a bit more cash.
Or craft those parts. That's the other thing. And that's what that laser is it's like now that's definitely crafting bait. That's like build your own K upgraded K laser, you know, with the Hurston Dynamics laser. I don't remember what it's called, but like there's the special laser.
Well, again, they could do a Wickelow's Idris and basically have the laser on it just as a
already.
You know, because they're essentially using that to motivate people to test stuff. That's why they did, because it was such high requirements to get a lot of those things. Like I saw entire orgs working for multiple weeks to pull that off. I've had an offer from one org to actually go do a bit of a review of the Wickelow Polaris. I probably will be going solo for that one because I get up at like 4 a.m. to do it, so it's a bit late for our good. But I'll get in there and I'll probably just do it as a supplemental 1 week, maybe a little bit after Invictus, just so because most people are probably never going to see that thing. So it'd just be kind of cool to do a bit of a tour and show people. And I haven't seen any videos on it, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to do one on it. So
yeah. I don't know how different it is. It might be a little different. It might have a different skin or something like that. I don't know. But
you'll have to wait and watch the video.
We'll have to find out. Yeah. But I think in the summary of this is effectively like there is so much evidence that CIG is going to release the P at Invictus or shortly after. We're at the very least we're getting an update. CIG is going to tell us definitively when they're going to release the P at Invictus.
I don't think we're gonna have to wait long. I think if it's coming, you'll know loud and proud. I think it's going to be the real big. Well, again, Aegis Day is number 1, right? And you tell me if
they've already done the MTC because the Grey Cat is the other one, and the MTC's video's already been out.
Exactly, so. And they kind of announce them all and what they all are, or show all the pictures and stuff like that. That's very unusual. That's incredibly unusual to show everything that you have beforehand. Are they just trying some new tactic to go, this is what's going to be available to just, maybe they are trying to see if it has a different effect on people, like it encourages the sale, diminishes sale. It's going to be really interesting to see. But also the other part of this is, as me and Agris mentioned in one of our videos earlier, I think last weekend, was there are no concepts yet. So there's still potential for, at least one, at minimum, I would say, concept sale. And what that will be, who knows? Yeah.
I mean, it could be the comet that they mentioned at there, or the meteor, I should say, the RSI meteor. It could be the
Comet's a cooler name.
Comet's cool. Well, that's because we already have the Saber Comet, so that already exists.
Yeah.
But
that would not stop CIG. Come on, we've got 2 Liberators at this point.
But you also have what is it called? The Kruger Light Fighter.
Yep.
That we know we've done for a while. So it could be that we're getting a concept ship, but the way that they usually stagger it is the beginning is new ships, the middle is new ships, and the end is new ships. And if you look at the way things are staggering, I don't think Kruger is in. I don't even know if Kruger's in.
It's not listed, which is really weird because the Merlin is technically there, so it should technically be on the list, but
it's not.
Yeah.
So it's got to be. And Drake Day is the last day, and
Drake Day's weird too. There's only got one day for Drake.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and we don't know of any new Drake ships. There's not been any leaks. There's anything like that. And like there's no. And while that does say, the Ironclad, the Ironclad, and I was wrong, and on the captain's table, I said it was the update was in March. The update was in January or February. It was the first update of the year that they mentioned the Ironclad, because they also lumped it in with the Perseus, the Ironclad, and the Apollo. All three of them were mentioned as going into gray box or white box.
Okay.
So, but it's still like, if it's entering gray box in January, it takes more than 6 months for it to come out. And then we would have already seen it in the files, like we've seen the Idris stuff in the files. We would have seen it in the files it was releasing, but we haven't. So at this point, it's really hard to see anything other than maybe a concept ship. And even then, Drake is not really there. So I don't know. All of the signs are pointing towards the Idris as a release for Invictus. So
yeah, and I'd agree on that 100%. So let us know in the comments below what you guys think of it. As I said, this was just meant to be a real quick one, just to give you our thoughts, and it's probably as much for us as it's for you. Just to kind of we go, hey, cool, we were kind of thinking the right thing, or hey, it just allows us to keep a little bit of a record, and we are wrong more times than we are right. Yeah. But yeah. All right, where can people find you on the interweb, Paul?
You can find me at twitch.tv/TheAstroPub, youtube.com/TheAstroPub live, youtube.com/TheAstroHistorian if you want to see my lore content. And if you want to catch Execute and myself and other content creators coming on to talk about Star Citizen, lore news and more, you can check out the Captain's Table Podcast at youtube.com/@the Captain's Table Podcast on YouTube. And you can also find us on Spotify for that as well, for the Captain's Table Podcast. So check it out.
All right, then. With that, then we'll love you and leave you, and we'll see you at Invictus. All right, he's been. Oh wait, I can press this button. I almost forget this button. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and thank you to everyone with the extra mile at the end of the video on Patreon. All right, with that, then he's been AstroPub.
He's been Execute.
We've done this for 10 years. We're professionals. See you, citizens.